Hello everyone, welcome back to our Plan Diferenciado, Inglés Social Comunicativo. Today we start with a series of video lessons and related tasks that you're going to turn in from week to week. And today, as you could see in the intro, I presented the objective. So we're going to start today with Module 1, which is called Getting to Know You. And the objective is practicing basic stress and intonation patterns in conversation. This is done mainly orally. So for that, I need to introduce a few things first. So let's get started with what you can see here on your screen, which are two phonetic symbols and two intonation marks I'd like to introduce to you today. Well, these are really three elements. A, the brackets. So you can see these square brackets or slashes. These are the symbols meant to convey how you pronounce a word. Examples. You have in number 1, of, OF, that is a spelling, but between these square brackets, you have the pronunciation, which is of. Then number 2, house, House, and between these square brackets or these slashes, you can see the pronunciation of this word using phonetic symbols. In the second place, I'd like you to pay attention to one of the most important sounds in English, which is called the schwa sound. This is one of the most pronounced vowel sounds in the English language. Here you have a diagram of how that sound is made in your mouth. And for example, let's look at the example number 1. Campus is pronounced campus. The sound of the schwa is it's not an E, it's So you don't say campus, you say campus, campus, campus. Number 2, for, or using the schwa, f. Number 3, at. Number 4, the. Number 5, t. So these are a few examples of some of the most common examples where you can see how this sound is introduced into mostly every word in English conversation. Some other examples, for example, here next to the diagram you can see about. It's not about, it's about. The schwa again, about. Then we have not for, photography. Submit, again the schwa, submit. And finally, we have tiger. And finally, the other important sound you must bear in your mind in this lesson is the th sound. And for example, we use it a lot in English in these examples, as you can see. Number 1, earth. So this sound is equivalent to the th. For example, in number 1, we have EARTH. That is pronounced earth. Again, the th sound, earth. Number 2, thank you. As you can remember, I always used to tell you that it was like the theta española. It's kind of similar to that pronunciation. So, thank you. Number 3, thank. Again, the same sound. Number 4, thing. right? So please keep in mind the schwa sound and the th sound for the task that you will have later on, in which you have to use these sounds in a dialogue, in a context, in a conversation. And finally, in letter D, you can see here the falling and rising intonation marks, like this falling arrow and this rising arrow, that indicates that your intonation goes either down or goes up. For example, when you are making a question with the answer yes or no, you say, for example, can you help me? Can you help me? We don't say, can you help me? No, can you help me? And when you're making a statement, when you're giving information, you can say, I come from Valdivia. I come from Valdivia. I come from Valdivia. You don't say, I come from Valdivia, because if you're using the wrong intonation, then the listener can misunderstand you, right? So having then shown these phonetic symbols and these two intonation marks, now we are ready to get into the task. So what you have to do now is to look and listen to a conversation using American English. You're going to see three people, Tom, Rachel, and a foreigner, who are going to introduce themselves for the first time. Right? So I'm not going to show you the video now, but I'm going to attach it to this Google Classroom post so that you can download it and watch it several times. The more you watch it, the better for you to get accustomed to the sounds, to these sounds we have seen, and to the pronunciation and also the intonation. So I like to tell you now about your task. Here you have on your screen the 4 steps for this weekly task. Number 1, you're going to download or just click to play the Tom and Hey Queen dialogue. Number 2, you're going to, on a piece of paper or your notebook, you're going to mark the script using the stress, the phonetic and intonation symbols. That's why you can also find attached to the Google Classroom post the handout with the written dialogue. And using the script, you're going to make these marks of the symbols we have seen a few minutes ago. Now, in number 3, use your marked script to video record or to audio record the full dialogue. All right, so the idea is that you can use these notes, these marks, so you can practice, and then you can either video record yourself or you can audio record yourself the complete dialogue that you have in your script. But in number 4, apart from the dialogue itself, you're going to add 2 more personal information questions. So you're going to kind of continue with the conversation, including the corresponding answers. So that means that you will have to think of 2 questions and then 2 answers, right? This is a fictional situation. It doesn't matter if you use real information or not. And finally, when you are ready, then you, in the step number 5, you turn in your assignment via Google Classroom. And the file name should be your name, surname, ISC, meaning Inglés Social Comunicativo, hyphen, and then number 1. Now the evaluation points. You're going to be evaluated according to number 1, pronunciation, number 2, the fluency, how easy or difficult for you is to be able to say one word after another. Then number 3, the intonation, using the falling and rising intonation. All that information is on the video, so you need to watch it several times. You need to practice and listen to yourself. You can ask a classmate or somebody else to listen to your conversation. And finally, the use of 2 proper questions, redaction, spellings, yes, and I mean correct spelling, and answers for the dialogue. Of course, the answers should go together, should be related to the questions that you're going to make up for this dialogue. So in this way, you're going to practice and fulfill the objectives of this lesson, which is coming back, practicing basic stress and intonation patterns in English conversation. All right, so download this video lesson, watch the Tom and Queen dialogue, use the marks, practice, record yourself, send it to me, the file, and over the week we have our first Skype session, so that we can have information, so that you can make questions to me and give you and receive my feedback about this activity. All right, so this is all for this session, and thank you very much for your attention.